since we are talking about transforming people, right?
Uh-huh.
So one thing when I really understand what is transformation as a theme, when I really go back and Google and say, transformation, the first thing comes up your mind is the fitness freaks, right? You see people with a lot of a belly, and then they transform into a six packs guy, and all these muscles coming up. It's not only in Google. When you look at all social media, when you put
Yeah.
transformation, right, the outer part is what people are talking about. So there is a lot more to it, is what I believe. So I hope you should be able to give us a clarity in what is transformation as a term refers to, first of all.
So I think, look, because of the lockdown and people at home, I think that is the most popular form of transformation that people
Right.
need right now. But yeah, I mean, what you mentioned is very, very, and I would say relevant. That we more often than not focus on external transformation, and that's why the makeup industry or the apparel industry are such huge industries, right? Because people focus on that. But then, if you kind of look at transformation, which is deep down, which is deep within, someone's self, and that sort of, personal transformation is the most beautiful thing, I've ever come across. Right. So let me, kind of explain that a little bit. And we have all heard about Maslow's need hierarchy and the theory related to that, right?
Yeah.
So there's this, guy, his name is Richard Barrett. He's a very, very famous author, and he's written 13 books. And he did some work to further, this work of Robert Maslow. So let me, kind of talk about that. So I'll dwell on that, maybe for a couple of minutes. So this, hierarchy, he modified it in a certain way. So let's, start at the bottom. So the bottom, is still survival. It is, satisfying our physical needs, or our survival needs. Now, we must understand that every time one of our needs does not get met, there is a fear that we develop about it. So if our survival needs, don't get met, then, we have the fear, or, we develop a fear that we do not have enough. And we carry that with us, for the rest of our lives. So similarly, the next on the pyramid, which is on top of survival needs, is relationship needs. It is, to the need, for us to feel loved, for us to belong, for us to feel protected. Now, if we do not have that met, then we develop a fear that we are not loved enough.
Right.
On top of that, sits self-esteem, which is the feeling of a sense of self-worth. Now, more often than not, unless there is an abuse, we see that the survival needs and relationship needs are getting met. Of course, there are certain conditions, economic conditions, where survival needs are not getting met. I'm not, kind of talking about those, but otherwise, we see typically that, these are in certain ways, getting met. The self-esteem need is the need, where people, start creating that, sense of self, the sense of identity. Now, 90% of the people in the world are not able to develop that fully. Now, what happens is they don't get rewards, or they don't get recognition, they don't get appreciation, so on and so forth. And especially during the teenage years, and then this fear develops that I am not enough, and then they carry it throughout their lives. There are very, very I would say high-ranking leaders. If you look at them, I mean, they've reached great positions in life, but they're still, kind of, carrying it with them. So if, we look at these three needs, which is survival needs, relationship needs, and self-esteem needs, you'll realize that, these are all about the individual, which means, these needs are all in self-interest. Now, if these needs are met, it isn't that, it generates a sense of lasting, satisfaction. But if these needs are not met, then it generates anxiety. So it's very important that these needs are met. Now, if these needs are met in a certain way, or, once, we pass these phases, then, we can think about letting go of some of these conditioning. These are, social conditioning, or, cultural conditioning, or parental conditioning, things, that we have grown up with, because these are actually the things that you should do, that you must do, that you have to do. Now, once, you reach that phase of transformation, and this is where transformation occurs, you can let go of these, and you can develop your values, the ones, that resonate with you the most. And that's what, transformation is. This is like, in a way, if I have to put it in a phrase, it's like surrendering your ego to your soul. It's like, what does my soul want me to do?
Right.
And maybe, I see that, smile on your face, because probably, this, event is one thing.
No?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Because I think, this, at this point, that's what you're doing. And, you kind of realize that, yeah, this is what my soul wants me to do. So I'm doing this. So that's what, transformation is, where, like I said, letting go of your fears, you have the courage, to develop and grow,
Right.
In accordance with the values that resonate with you deeply. That's what transformation is. Now, once that happens, then, there are, 3 other phases on top of transformation. So the first phase on top of transformation is internal cohesion. That means, and I just, said that in that, example that I shared, that who am I? Why am I here?
Right.
What is my purpose? What, purpose, do I want to serve in this world? So that is internal cohesion. That's, finding meaning, right, in my existence in this world. And then, on top of that sits making a difference, where, we want to make a positive difference to the world, so that we are able to, make this world a better place. And on top of that, sits selfless service, that my life is, dedicated to, make contributions that will take mankind ahead, and so on and so forth. So now, if you look at, these 3, phases, which are above transformation, these are for the, common good. This is not, anything to do with self-interest. So you look, that's the hinge. So below the hinge is, self-interest, and above the hinge is, serving for the common good. Cool. So that's what transformation is. I would, kind of, define it as that.
Now, since it's a very elaborative and in-depth references, touch points, it is, you have given a very in-depth